Good. And today's topic is the most important thing for bird survival. All animals need food, water, and shelter, and we always talk about those. But water is quite often the most overlooked, but easily the most important thing that the birds need. And by adding water to your backyard or enhancing the water that you already have in your backyard with a few tricks, I always say you'll steal your neighbor's birds because birds have to have water. Obviously, they have to have water for hydration. We know that. Everybody has to drink water. But also for birds, they also use water. They need water to bathe to help heal and preen and keep their feathers healthy. And you'll see a bird that quite often, if you watch one that leaves your bird bath after splashing around a bed, he flies over to on a limb, and then he starts running his bill through his feathers, and that's called preening, and that is getting those feathers back in alignment and re-zipping the zippers, as we say, so that those feathers are nice and straight, and it helps them stay healthy, because if they get dry and brittle and they break, you lose several feathers, and it doesn't affect your lifestyle. You have to have good healthy feathers to be able to fly. You have to have good healthy feathers to stay warm. So water is so important, and we really encourage people to do it. So what do you do for a source of water? I've always been the one to say that it's as easy as turning over a trash can lid and putting water in it as a source of water for birds. Now, not many people want trash can lids laying around in their yard, and I understand that. But you do have lots of simple ways to provide water, like just an easy tray, just something as simple as that. Put that out on your patio, you fill it with water. One thing we do encourage, one thing you want you to think about whatever your source of water is the depth of water. Because some people think, oh, I've got a fountain and it's fine, but the water's too deep. And maybe the birds can get to the edge and drink a little bit, but they can't actually bathe in it. And so even in a shallow water dish like this, we would recommend putting in a shallow or a little small flat rock in the center of it. And that way there's a couple of depths of water there for the smaller birds and the larger birds. So if you do have a larger fountain or a deeper thing of water that you would, and you don't want to add something new, you think that's what all you want to do, we have a device that's pretty cool that you can actually put into a deeper source of water, and it's a raft. It literally floats around in your water feature and provides a shallow water opportunity for birds to land on, drink from, and bathe in, which is pretty cool. So you can get around a deep water feature with some creativity. The thing about, we always talk about unfrozen water in winter, and of course that's vitally important, but moving water, especially this time of year, and the migration that's just coming to an end, but during the summer months, moving water is important. Why? Well, mosquitoes will want to lay their eggs on a still body of water, and that includes bird baths. But mosquito eggs have to breathe, and so if you can just agitate the water surface a little bit, you can keep mosquitoes from being able to lay their eggs successfully and for them to hatch. So things like the water wiggler that's going on over here, if you can see that ripple in the water, simple device that just keeps the surface agitated, that keeps those mosquitoes from being able to successfully use this as a source to hatch from, lay their eggs and successfully do it. Things like a bubbler or a waterfall placed in a bird bath. This comes with an aquarium pump. And what you do is, a lot of people, after they unhook their de-icer from the winter, they put in a bubbler or a rock waterfall, something like this. This comes with an aquarium pump. You plug that into where your heater was for the winter, and then this just pumps the water up and it cascades back down into your bird bath, and it creates that rippling sound. It keeps the water moving so the mosquitoes can't lay their eggs. So moving water keeps that water fresh. It also keeps the mosquitoes from being able to lay on it, and it attracts the birds. The movement and the sound are like a magnet for birds, and it helps them to locate them, especially in migration when birds don't know where they are. That sound can be very, very helpful. Now, a couple of things that a lot of people don't think about that you probably are doing that can provide a source of water for birds. If you have a hummingbird feeder or an oriole feeder out and you're trying to keep the ants out, you likely have some kind of device that tries to keep the ants out. And these little nectar protectors, the ant moats that we hang above our hummingbird feeders, this filled with water, and your hummingbird feeder hanging down here, smaller birds like chickadees and goldfinches, I've seen them many times land on here and get a drink of water out of the little the miniature bird bath, the little nectar protector. So that's a source of water for the birds in your yard. And then many of us water, at least some in your yard. I'm not a big one who waters my lawns or has a sprinkler system, but I do go out and water plants and water the lawn at certain times of the year, especially when it's really dry. And one of the things you can do with that, when you've got your sprinklers going, if you just let your sprinklers hit the edge of the woods, let the plants right on the edges get really good and wet, you'll see those birds gather in those plants while the sprinklers are going, and just sit there and let the water run on them, and they'll bathe in the limbs and right on the edge of the woods where your sprinklers are. If you're one who moves a water hose around to water some of your favorite plants, you might consider something like this, which is a miniature mister. And this just hooks to the end of your water hose, and it's got a hook for you to just drape your water hose up and let it spray a fine mist in your wildflower garden or in your plant beds, and the birds love that. They'll just get underneath it. Hummingbirds especially love to bathe this way. They like to fly through that mist water spray and then land somewhere and preen their feathers and take care of what they've got to do. So there's lots of different ways to provide water for birds. The cleanliness of water, obviously, if it's something you've got in your yard, you want it to be clean, and algae can be a problem. The sun shining on your water feature all day long, especially if it's not moving, you might get algae buildup in your bird bath. We do have enzyme products that you can put a capful in a bird bath, and it'll help keep those algae from growing in there. And it's a mild soap. Dogs can drink it and everything, and it doesn't hurt them. So it's a good, safe way to keep your bird bath a little cleaner during the summer months too. So if you like the programs, please share them. Give us a like. Send in ideas for future programs. And until then, come by and let's talk birds.